Yo, what's wrong, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Before we actually get into the video, I just want to say that I will be hosting some giveaways soon in my Discord, so if you're interested in that, just subscribe to the channel and join my Discord. All that you have to do is press enter on the giveaway and show proof that you're subscribed, and then you have a chance of winning some items. Once when I get my second steel box, and if I get an extra one or something, I'll probably just trade that or like Hidoku fragments after I get visored. I could do some big giveaways and also like con or whatever. So yeah, if you're interested in any of that, join my Discord down below. But yeah, let's get right into the video. Alright, so this video is going to be a SHIKAI tier list. This will not include Bonkais. This will clearly be ranking them just off their SHIKAI form. I'll have a Bonkai one in the next few days. I did end up getting my water Bonkai, so a video about that will be coming out right after this pretty much. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed the video, like, subscribe, and yeah, let's get right into it. Alright, so I believe this tier list has all the actual elements. But the first thing that I have to say is nothing will go into D or like C tier. I believe all these are usable, even like Confusion, which I think is the worst one, which is actually the one that we'll start with. But yeah, I believe all these are at least B tier. They're all usable and pretty decent. But yeah, the first one, which I think is personally the worst, is Confusion. Now, Confusion isn't too bad. The only issue with it for me is it really only has one move that's actually incredibly useful, and that's the one that like makes everything inverted. That's the only move whenever someone uses Confusion against me. That's the only move that I seem to actually be affected by. All the other moves are kind of just there and don't really affect me very much. Now, the second to worst one, in my opinion, I'm going to be personally putting Creation. Now, once again, Creation isn't bad. It's just everything else here is pretty much just better. Creation's not bad though, but pretty much the same thing as Confusion. It really only has one or two moves that are incredibly good. It's kind of just underwhelming in comparison to a lot of the other Shikais here. Now, the next one will be Wind. Now, this is where they start getting really good. Wind is actually pretty good. It has decent combos. It has a lot of stun. But once again, pretty much just like everything else here is simply better. But Wind is probably the first one where I could recommend keeping it if you do end up rolling it. Now, pretty much everything else that is here is going to be really good. Now, the last one in B tier is going to be Berserk. Now, the only reason why it's still in B tier is because everything else that remains is just that much better. But Berserk is pretty good. Now, the only downside for Berserk for me is you only get two actual moves. One of the other moves is just a form that makes you do more M1 damage or reduced damage. I don't really know exactly what it does, but it's called Limit Break. It's pretty good. I had Berserk for a little bit before I ended up spinning back for water. It's actually pretty good. The Bonkai, I believe, is really insane. But the Shikai by itself has two alright moves. One of the attack moves barely works though. So really you only have one move that's going to work all the time. And then you have Limit Break, which gives you extra damage, I believe. Now, the lowest one in A tier for me is going to be Shadow. Shadow is really good. It has really good combos, high stun. Now, the only issue with it is it's primarily only 1v1. If you're in a big group, you're going to accidentally hit your teammates a lot of the time. Almost like 90% of the time you will hit your teammates. But yeah, for 1v1s it's really good. It has really good combos. It slams them down, does really good stun and all that. But yeah. Now the next one might be a bit controversial, but I'm actually going to be putting Lightning. Lightning and Ink for me are personally tied when we're talking about Shikais especially. Lightning, a lot of people say it's the best Shikai, but if you actually go against it a lot, all the moves are parry or blockable. I believe there's only one that isn't, and it only stuns you for a little bit. Now, if you do get hit by the moves and you don't know how to parry or block as good, Lightning is definitely one of the more deadly ones. It has a lot of stun. Now, the main issue with it is that pretty much as long as you're like a decent far range or like on their side or something, they can't really hit you with their Shikai because their Shikai only goes in a straight line. Like all of their moves are straight lines. They can't really curve or do anything like that. But yeah, if you do end up getting hit by the moves, Lightning is definitely one of the most deadly ones. It has a lot of stun and things like that. But if you actually are good at blocking, most of the time Lightning will barely hit you. But the next one will be Ink. Now, Ink is primarily good because it has a move that will disable your opponent's abilities. If it didn't have that, then the Shikai would be super underwhelming. That's pretty much the whole reason why it's higher than Lightning, because it has one move that will actually nullify your opponent's abilities. I believe the first time you hit it, 6, 7, 8, 9 are disabled. So anything that's 6, 7, 8, 9 or after will be disabled. Then if you hit it a second time, I believe 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 are deactivated, which would be really good because you're pretty much just disabling your opponent's moves, and all that they can use is their Shikai. And if they don't have a Shikai, then it's pretty much GG. They can't use any moves. Now, the next one is going to be Water for me. Water, I personally think, is better than Ink and Lightning. The main reason is because it's just really good. It's more of like a support type thing. I don't know. It's weird to explain. But pretty much the Shikai takes Ryetsu. It takes Ryetsu from your opponent whenever you actually hit a move. whenever you apply the soaked effect, it will give you more Reiatsu back. It's not crazy good until you get the Bankai, but it does still give you some Reiatsu, so the moves barely take any Reiatsu. The Geyser is really good for far range, like if someone's running away, Geyser is really good. The Tsunami is also pretty good as well for like combos, like if you crit someone and then they're staggered, you can Tsunami and that's some free damage and some free Reiatsu back. And then also the dash move is pretty good. I would say water is probably the most balanced out of everything here. Lightning, if you're going against a really good lightning user and you don't really know how to block, I'd see lightning being better. But as an all-around, like what's easy to use and high damage output thing, I would definitely say water. And then the next one right after that is going to be fire. Fire is pretty easy to use, high damage, does burn damage. All in all, a lot of people think fire is the best one. The only thing that's really a downside for it is the moves have a super long cooldown and the up tilt move is pretty hard to hit. But yeah, all the moves are good. It does burn damage. It's just really strong. There's not much else to say about it. It's probably by far like the best out of all like the commoner ones. It's definitely by far the best non-legendary one, and it's even better than Ink in my opinion. Now for S tier, the strongest ones, personally I'm gonna say Ice. Now honestly, Ice could be like below Fire to some people. The main thing that carries Ice for me is the counter. Now the counter is really good if you're actually good at timing it. You pretty much get a free hit, it stuns them. All the moves freeze as well. There's a move where 5 sharks can spawn and it's far range. If you're in a party with someone, it won't hit your teammates, unlike Shadow, which is really good as well. And then there's the claw move, which is pretty much just a dash forward. I would say Ice is good. It mainly gets good when it enters Bankai. But yeah, it's definitely pretty good. It has high freeze. It has a counter move. It's pretty much just the most balanced thing. Everything that you could want is in there. It has a long range move. It has a counter move. And then it also has a close range freeze move. So that's why I'm going to be personally putting Ice above Fire. But honestly, I would say it's more like this. I believe Fire is right on par with Ice. So I'm going to actually be putting Fire in S tier. Now, by far the strongest one is going to be Blood. Blood is just super good. If you go against a dead blood user and you're something like lightning or water, most of the time you are going to lose if you are the same skill level. Blood is just really strong. Now the only weird thing about blood is obviously if you miss a move, it takes away some HP. But as long as you don't miss your move, you're pretty much good. But yeah, this is going to be the personal tier list for me. If I had to make some changes, I would maybe say lightning's even better than ink. If it's the right user, it could be better than water. I believe water and lightning are a bit tied. I would say ink is definitely worse than both of these. I just don't see much in ink in the Shikai. The Bankai is really good though. I would say the Bankai is probably like top 5, at least from what I've seen. B tier is pretty much good. That's how I would say B tier is. A tier can be changed around a bit, and then S tier maybe Fire is better than Ice. But from what I've seen, from all the players I've seen play, this is pretty much the tier list that I would go. Let me know down your thoughts in the comments how you would personally rank all the Shikais and which one you think is the most broken or the most balanced or the most underwhelming. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed the video, like, subscribe. My current goal is 8,000 subscribers. We're super close, only like 50 subs away, so if we can get that, I'd really appreciate it. And let me know down your thoughts on the tier list in the comments down below. But I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.